Here we are at the end of week 1 of Kanji Master. We did it. We've done our first week of study. This is great. Let's get straight into the last day. You see 4 kanji in front of you. These kanji mean north, south, east, and west. What I'm going to ask you to do when remembering these is sort of place yourself in the middle and sort of visualize each one of these stories happening both north in front of you, south behind you. We're going to go east and west, okay? So start off with, we've got the kanji for north, which is the Onya meridian of Hoku and the Kunya meridian of Kita. The 2 shapes, I'm going to be referring to Wanikani yet again in a little bit in this one. So you've got, shape on the left is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Essentially what we're looking at on the left here is a bat with 2 nails hammered into it. So if you can imagine in front of you there's a boy who's got this bat in his hand with his 2 nails looking at you menacingly. And what he starts doing, he starts banging down in front of him with this spoon in front of him. Bang, bang, bang. And what you end up with is this bent spoon. He looks towards you, quite menacing. You're like, oh, what's he going to hit next? North. That's north of you. Happening south, but even more strange, we have this kanji for south here. Nan and na is the onyomi reading, and minami is the kunyomi reading. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Break this down into parts. You've got a gentleman with a cross. I'm going to draw it over here, there's more space. Cross on his head, sticking out of his head. And stranger still, he has 2 horns on his face, and 2 horns sticking out of his forehead. And glued to his face is an antenna. I'm going to draw it in here to sort of finish the shape off, but if you draw it to the left so you can see it more clearly, to the right, sorry, it's an antenna. It looks like a TV antenna, sort of. I think you can sort of see that. It's glued to his face. So you've got this guy with a cross on his head, 2 horns sticking out of his forehead, and an antenna glued to his face. Bizarre. That's happening to the south of you. We look to the east, and you'll see this kanji quite a lot because this is the To from Tokyo, and the Kunya meridian is Higashi. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When looking at this kanji, you can quite clearly see there's like the number 1 and a rice field. So happening to the east is basically your number 1 rice field. Suddenly, a giant, great big stick comes flying through the air and hammers into the rice field. And then strangely, for some reason, out of the hole that this massive stick has created, pops out 2 fins, bizarrely. And that's happening, which is pretty scary and bizarre and unexplainable. That's happening to the east. And finally to the west, Se and Sai, the onyomi readings, and Nishi is the kunyomi reading. We have basically number 1 joined to the number 4. So if you can imagine a wall to the west, and on the wall is a number 1 is drawn, and the number 4. And what's happened is gradually this number 4 sort of springs to life, as it were, and starts stretching up towards the 1, growing like almost leafy vines or something like that, up out until the legs have reached the 1. One's not particularly great, that last one, but it's a very simple shape. Out of all of them, that's the simplest shape, I think. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can remember 1 and 4, and just basically join them together. And that's it, north, south, east, and west. On to the next one. Next we have the kanji for like, or fond, or to like something. The onyomi reading is ko, and the kunyomi reading is kono from konomu, the su from suku, the yo from yoi, and the i from i. It's basically just a woman and a child. So to remember this, the woman liked her child very much. The woman liked her child very much. So draw it, it's just ku no ich. And like. You'll see it in words like big, it's terrible, like ki, but it doesn't matter. Daisuki, to love. I'm not sure if any of you have ever heard this. Probably if you watch some dramas, Japanese dramas, you might have heard this before. Daisuki, daisuki. Love. The woman loves her child. The woman likes her child very much. Last kanji for today, and indeed the last kanji for this week, should be no problem for you. It's actually the kanji for problem or question. We've seen this very similar shape before. This is the gate kanji. So we've seen that gate, and then you put sun in between it to create interval space. Throw an ear in it to listen at the gate. Listen. Today we're putting a mouth, because unlike when you're listening, this one is a mon for like counter for questions. Toi as like actually is a question. So if you can imagine someone at the gate asking you questions, asking you or presenting problems to you, big mouth at the gate. Like yabbering away, you're asking a million questions about your life. What are you doing tomorrow? What are you up to? How's the weather? Like, what's your favorite color? Blah, 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 a million things. So many questions, so many problems. Maths problems too, maybe. 1 + 1 is 3. Not a question, that's a statement. Anyway, it's been a long week, guys. Need a break. And that's it. I'll write it one more time for you. That's it. Couldn't be easier. From Monday. Cool. Next, we'll just have a quick look back, because this is the last kanji for the week, at our progress this week. And so let's bring out the chart. As you can see from looking at the poster, it's still a long way to go, but this is an incredible amount of progress for 1 week. Keeping in mind that Japanese students take up to 9 years to learn this whole thing. We're going to do it in just 1. Now let's, for a little bit more like motivation, a little bit more of a pat on the back, let's have a look at what we can actually now write, thanks to just 1 week's worth of study. So as you can see from looking at the board, this is not even half the kanji that you've learned this week. You're already able to say the days of the week that include characters that mean the sun, the moon, fire, water, trees, gold, soil. You can say the months of the year as well. You can say Japan, Japanese language, and Japanese person. In terms of verbs, you can say to go, to come, to drink, to eat, to return home, to stop, to see, to listen, to rest, to sell, to say, to speak. In terms of parts of the body, you've got eyes, ears, mouth, the whole body as a whole. Hand, you've got, in terms of weather, both the word weather and rain and snow. You've got left, right, up, down, inside, outside, north, south, east, west, man, woman, child, older brother, father, and mother. Great work for 1 week, and like I said, not even half of what you're actually able to do. I'm really excited for week 2. Let's keep the motivation up, let's keep studying, and let's make 2018 with Kanji Master the year that we learn all Joyo Kanji. Week 1 down, for 51 weeks to go.